Hello and welcome to tutorial key point video part 1. I'm doing this in two parts. The first with those areas that we reviewed in the tutorial, and I want to stress this is going to be very quick fire. It may be worth taking any notes because I'm just going to highlight the key points that you need to cover, certainly for revision purposes. So first of all, principles of UK constitutional law. Three main areas: separation of powers, parliamentary sovereignty and conventions. Separation of powers. You need to be able to show that you know where the idea came from the ancient Greeks, who looked at it as a way of analysing the different functions of government, and how that is refined by Montesquieu and Locke, where they stress that without separation of powers, tyranny will follow. You've got the very precise separation in the United States Constitution, where you cannot be a member of one branch and also a member of another, and the sort of hybrid that we've got in the UK, where there is quite an extent of separation, but members of the top of the executive also being members of the legislature for good reason, ministerial responsibility. Parliamentary sovereignty does these 3 points. Parliament can pass any law it wants. Secondly, no Parliament is bound by its predecessor. And thirdly, no Parliament can be questioned by the courts. Is an excellent structure for describing the doctrine and weighing up whether it was true ever and whether it's true after our membership of the European Union and the effect later of the European Convention on Human Rights. And conventions, key definition that they are non-legally binding rules but which the constitutional actors regard themselves as bound by. Very important definition. Principles of human rights, the contrast was between the traditional approach of you can do anything that you want unless it's banned, to the more modern approach of where certain rights are protected against the state and against others' rights, and there has to be a balancing there. Principles of criminal law, make sure that you understand actus reus and mens rea, and that they need to be present, other than in offences of strict liability where merely the actus reus is necessary. On contract, is there a contract? Offer, acceptance, intention to create legal relations and considerations. Answer that question. What's in the contract? Express terms, but also the implied terms, terms that are in effect written into the contract, either by the courts or by statute, for example, the Sale of Goods Act. And then remedies. What are the remedies for contract? On tort, in 200, we're only looking at the tort of negligence. So the essentials of negligence are: first, there has to be a duty of care. Secondly, that duty has been breached. So the issue of what's the standard of behaviour that is acceptable. And thirdly was, did it cause the injury that resulted? We then moved on to EU law, which is about previewing the subject, so I'm coming back to that in part 2. Thank you.